Jane Harling here, womenpropertybuyers.co.uk. Today I want to talk to you about something which is oh so tempting to do. And we know because we've done it ourselves many times over the past 20 years or so. So what am I talking about here? Well, I'm talking about the temptation to wring and squeeze every last bit of profit you can at every project you do out there. And it's tempting, but sometimes this is not the best way to go about things. For instance, suppose, like us, you're doing a conversion, a property conversion, maybe an office block into flats, or perhaps a big residential house like an ex-care home, what we're doing at the moment, into apartments. And out the back, there's a nice patch of land which you think, oh, that would be a nice build plot on there. By all means, go ahead, get the planning permission on the building plot. But just hang fire, just stop and consider. Would you be best actually developing that project yourself, the build plot, or perhaps selling it on for another developer to do, taking the profit now while you know exactly where the market is perhaps? Just something that you ought to consider every time at that stage. The other thing as well is that when you're putting in the planning permission on that plot, again, it's so tempting to think, how many houses could we squeeze in? How many more 2 beds or 3 beds or 4 beds could we squeeze? What could we fit into this plot to really intensify the design of it? But just stop and consider a moment that sometimes it's easier and better to go for the simplest option. If you're pretty certain that 2 3-bed houses or 3 2-beds or something is going to be easily achievable, why not just go and get the permission for that? Get it dealt with quickly, simply, because if your planning permission fails or you need to go through a long, lengthy appeal process or something, sometimes the holding costs, particularly if you're on bridging interest, can be so extreme that it kind of knocks out a lot of the profit that you make anyway. And likewise, holding on the costs. Sometimes when a market is a little bit uncertain, like it's getting at the moment in many parts of the country, just hanging on for that, that high asking price, sometimes that can be a bit of mistakes too, because sometimes it's just better to accept an offer, get the money out, get it in your bank account, be ready to take advantage of the next opportunity that's surely always just around the corner. So sometimes don't try and just squeeze everything you can out of every deal. Leave something on the table for the other guy perhaps. Take the money now, keep your costs down, your holding costs down, and go out and look for the next project, because often there's even more profit can be made by doing things that way. So I hope you found this useful and interesting. It's just some observations from our 20 years out there in property and hanging on too long in the past, over-intensifying sites, trying to squeeze too many things in. We've been there, we've done it. We want you to learn from our mistakes. We don't want you to do the same thing again. So I hope you find this interesting. Catch up with you again soon. It's Jane Harling, womenpropertybuyers.co.uk.